Hi there, my name is Meg Lamont. I'm the Division Head of English at Stanford Online High School, and I'm going to be talking about your course enrollment options for English for the year 2014 to 15. I wanted to start with a broad overview of the goals of our curriculum. So each OHS English course is designed to create a cohesive community of learners who read to understand writing and write to understand reading. That is, we really believe that those two activities are intertwined, that you can't become a good writer unless you're reading a lot, and you become a good reader partly by writing a lot. Instructors draw on the full range of literature to develop students' attention to the possibilities of language, and through the sequence of courses, students master ever more challenging literature and develop increasingly complex modes of writing. And by the end of the sequence, students can employ language effectively in a wide variety of contexts with intention, precision, and passion. And throughout all of our courses, we have a special focus on attention to language, that is the details of how a text is achieving its effects on its audience, on intentionality and voice, so that students are writing with intention, that they're producing the effect on the reader that they want to create, on adaptive and original thinking, that is going beyond ideas that have been covered in the classroom to their own original ideas, and then obviously thinking beyond the classroom, applying these kinds of methods of thinking and close reading and analysis of text more broadly to the world around them. So this is the English sequence, a kind of flow chart. And as you can see, there's our middle school courses, JE001 and JE002, then our high school courses, which take us through 2 AP English options. You'll see on the right-hand side here, also 2 advanced topics and literature options. As you'll see, those are tied to the AP level, and I will be speaking about them a little bit more in a moment. And then we have 2 university level courses. These are courses that are pegged to Stanford University's sophomore level seminars in English. So I'm going to start with our middle school courses. Our very first course in the sequence is Fundamentals of Expository Writing, JE001. And here at the beginning, I want to point out that all of our courses are, while we have middle school courses and high school courses, all of our courses students enter them through a placement exam. And so it's not by grade level, but rather by placement exam or having taken a previous course in the sequence. So this is our very first course that introduces students to the nuts and bolts of critical writing and reading. Students receive comprehensive grammar instruction that they apply to decode complex works of literature, and they master the basic essay form. And the prerequisite here is a placement exam. So we do want to make sure that students are ready to excel in this course before they enroll. And this prepares students for Fundamentals of Literary Analysis, which is JE002. So Fundamentals of Literary Analysis, JE002, is our other middle school English course. It develops and strengthens students' skill in writing, literary interpretation, and critical thinking. It exposes students to a variety of major works of literature in different genres. Concepts covered include figurative language, tone, close reading, pre-writing tactics, thesis development, diction and clarity, paragraph unity, argumentative structure, and revision. And the prerequisite here is Fundamentals of Expository Writing, that's JE01, or again, a placement exam. And this course prepares students for either literary analysis and argumentation, which is OE009, or textual analysis and argumentation, which is OE010. And I'll be speaking in a moment about some of the differences between those 2 courses. So now moving on to our high school level courses. The first is Literary Analysis and Argumentation, OE009. And at this point I want to mention that it is rare for an 8th grader to be placed into one of our high school English courses. It does happen on occasion, but it's quite rare. And both the content, the speed of the course, and its rigor for our high school classes is really designed for sort of the brain development and the status of maturity of a high school student. So literary analysis and argumentation deepens students' skills in close textual analysis of literature, in making and supporting meaningful arguments, and in crafting elegant argumentative prose through sustained reading and writing. The prerequisite here is Fundamentals of Literary Analysis, that's JE02, or again, a placement exam. And this class prepares students for textual analysis and argumentation, which is OE010. So textual analysis and argumentation, OE010. This is another course a student might take in the 9th grade year, typically at the school. Again, it will vary a little bit by student. This class provides students an American literature survey in a global context. Students master close reading for form and thematically related clusters of text, such as the captivity narrative, and learn to create precise thesis statements based on these readings. Students structure their essays with increasing sophistication and are introduced to and become competent in MLA style. The prerequisite here is either the recommendation of the Fundamentals of Literary Analysis instructor, that's JEO2, successful completion of literary analysis and argumentation, that's OE009, or a placement exam. And this course prepares students for modes of writing and argumentation, OE011. So I wanted to explain how you might decide which is the course for you, LAA or TAA in the 9th grade. LAA is going to bring students to the AP level in English by their senior year. TA will allow students to pursue a post-AP option in the senior year. So part of it has to do with how much of a focus on English a student wants to have over the course of his or her career at the school. TA's course schedule is more intense and demanding than that of LAA, and so that's another thing to keep in mind. So going on with our next high school course is Modes of Writing and Argumentation, OE011. In this course, students continue the work of reading texts in conversation and competition with their predecessors, in longer essays that require more sophisticated argumentative structures to support complex claims. They begin to articulate their own theory of intertextuality in action, and students solidify their mastery of MLA style and continue to develop oral presentation skills to complement their skill in writing. The prerequisite here is textual analysis and argumentation, that's OE010, or placement exam. And this class prepares students for AP English Language and Composition, that's OE020, and AP English Literature, OE021. And a student who wants to have a special focus in English might talk to their Modes of Writing and Argumentation, or MWA instructor, about whether it might be possible for them to go on to AP English Literature rather than AP English Language and Composition the following year. And I'll speak more about that in just a moment. So a note on our AP courses. Our AP level courses are designed to significantly surpass the requirements of the College Board's AP exam requirements. They are taught as freshman undergraduate courses at a highly selective college. That's the level at which they're taught. And this is important because as a result, they are very rarely appropriate in content, pace, or rigor for students in 10th grade and almost never for students in 9th grade. I wanted to mention this because this is a difference from some of the kinds of AP English classes one can find in other outlets. These are really taught as intensive college level seminar courses. So our AP English Language and Composition course is most frequently taken in the junior year, but sometimes in the senior year, and occasionally, very occasionally, in the 10th grade year. It introduces students to rhetorical terms and structures as a means of analyzing authorial intentions and effects, and an intensive study of genres of nonfiction, a very large focus on nonfiction, including creative nonfiction and visual rhetoric. Students write many genres of essays and present formal oral arguments, allowing them to master multiple argumentative structures. And by the end of the course, student essays are executed at the college level. And again, this is the college level at a bar significantly higher than the AP English Language and Composition exam. So prerequisite here, successful completion of Modes of Writing and Argumentation, that's OE011, or a placement exam. And this prepares students for college level English wherever they go, at any school in the country, and success on the AP English Language and Composition exam, as well as advanced OHS English classes such as university level or advanced topics. Our next high school course is AP English Literature and Composition. This course introduces students to advanced theoretical approaches that build upon the foundations in literary and rhetorical analyses provided by MWA and AP ELC. By the end of the course, students put together their own approach to literary history, becoming creators as well as consumers of advanced literary theory. The prerequisite here is AP ELC, that's OE020, AP English Language and Composition, at the OHS, and that's an important requirement. If you've taken the course elsewhere, an AP English Language and Composition course elsewhere, we do require that you take our placement exam, and that's again because our AP courses often differ in content and rigor from other AP options from other outlets. It's also possible to take AP English Literature and Composition at the recommendation of your MWA, Modes of Writing and Argumentation instructor, OE011. So if that's something you're interested in, that's something you might check in with your MWA instructor about. This course prepares students for college level English at any school in the country and success on the AP English Language and Literature exam, as well as advanced OHS English classes such as university level or advanced topics in literature. So another option that students have once they've reached the AP English level, and we do require that you take AP level, but once you've gotten there, you have some options in addition to AP, and that's advanced topics in literature. These are 2 semester-long courses. They're modeled on college seminars focusing on a single author, text, or topic, and they introduce students to advanced critical methodologies. There's 2 credit options for these courses. The first is a 2.5 credit option. Students do all the readings, they complete frequent informal writing assignments, and they give 1 to 2 presentations. There are also for both of these courses a writing option that would be 5 credits per semester. And for that, students taking this option, in addition to the items listed above, they complete 1 or more formal essays for a total of somewhere between 12 and 15 pages. The topics for 2014 to 15 in the fall is Chaucer and the Aesthetic of the Unfinished, and that will be taught by me. So it's Dr. Lamont. And in spring, it will be The Apparel Oft Proclaims the Man, Gender and Clothing in Shakespeare's Plays, and that will be taught by Dr. Dawkins. And this course has both a prerequisite or a co-requisite, which means that students may co-enroll in AP English Language and Composition, OEO 20, and or AP English Literature and Composition, OEO 21, at the OHS, or they can take a placement exam, and that would be the AP English General. I will mention that we extremely strongly encourage students to take at least 1 AP English before they graduate, and so we do not recommend taking advanced topics in literature in place of an AP English language, but if you've taken one of the APs and you would like to go on to advanced topics, we do think that's a great idea, or if you wanted to co-enroll, especially if you wanted to take the half credit option, co-enroll in one of our AP English classes and in this particular option. And this obviously prepares students for college level English. So I want to say just a little bit about AP English Literature versus advanced topics in literature, because that's an option some students sort of have going into their 12th grade year. So AP English Literature will cover a broader range of time period and genre. AP English Literature includes also more frequent and shorter essays. And students in AP English Literature may choose to take the AP English Literature exam, which, depending on the college you're applying to, may or may not allow you to often sort of not have to take certain classes, or sort of jump in at the sophomore level, perhaps, in English. By contrast, advanced topics in literature focuses far more narrowly on a time period, author, or topic, and students in advanced topics in literature complete research projects on their own topics. So advanced topics will allow you to dive sort of deeper into a narrower topic, versus AP English Literature giving you a broader exposure and not quite the same level of depth to a range of literature. And so it really is a choice here, and they're both wonderful courses, and it has to do with one's own interests. So finally, there is our university level courses, and they are Making Moby Dick, UEO 30, and 20th Century Genre Theory and Practice, Modernist Literary Genres and Photography, UEO 31. These courses are pegged to Stanford University's sophomore level English seminars. They are very most advanced courses. They are by consent of the instructor only. So UEO 30 is offered in the fall. And Melville's Moby Dick is read in the context of 4 crucial literary and cultural settings. And other authors covered include Hawthorne, Poe, Emerson, Mary Shelley, and Shakespeare. So it's important to realize that this course, while it centers on Moby Dick, that is by no means the only text that students are reading here. UEO 31 is offered in spring only. This course uses photography and detective fiction to explore how traditional assumptions of genre were challenged and rewritten in modernist works. The prerequisite, as I mentioned, for either course is the consent of the instructor, and most students end up being recommended from either AP ELC, that's AP English Language and Composition, OEO 20, or AP English Language and Literature, OEO 21. So these are the English courses. I'm very happy to answer any questions you might have. You can reach me at emmelamont@stanford.edu, and I hope this information has been helpful.